I'd like to start by coming into a comfortable seated posture and just breathing in and breathing out and just moving inward as we recognize what is our current state of awareness. And just gently breathe in and breathe out. I watched as much as I could before falling asleep the TED Talk last night on sleeping and dreaming. And the one thing I remember when he was talking about waking up is that the cognitive brain kicks in when we wake up. The emotional brain takes a while to kick in when we come and we wake up from sleep. And sometimes I just was aware of that this morning as I woke up. And, um, sometimes certain parts of us take a little longer to awaken. Guess that's my point in saying this. So as you breathe in and breathe out, I know we're at 10:15, so most of the day is underway, but see if you recognize certain parts maybe that aren't as fully awake as other parts right now. It's a subtle inquiry. It's a very subtle inquiry of where in our lives are we really fully present? And when we're not fully present, why? There are just parts of ourselves that are distracted. Ultimately, the brain does a very fine job of keeping us safe. And it does that by flipping on and flipping off switches. Switches that either allow us to run away from tigers or to rest and digest and be safe. So it has these levers just to simplify it. And I'm fascinated now by this. As I've been studying sleep and sleep research, the brain is actually more active when we sleep in certain stages of sleep than when we are awake. Doing a lot of repair work, a lot of taking out of the garbage thoughts and feelings and images and ideas that don't really serve us, and then metabolizing or processing those images, thoughts, ideas that do, and processing. So that takes quite a bit of work, and sleep is critical to our overall health and to our overall survival and existence, as is our breath. So as we breathe in and we breathe out, just recognize those places again that maybe are still waking up or have been awake for a while, but then are distracted by something, and bring it right to this present moment. And we'll do that by balancing the brain in the technique of Nadi Shodhana. So we did this, I think, last Wednesday. Let's come into our Vishnu Mudra, or this hand gesture of the thumb extended, the two peace fingers bending inwards, and then the ring finger and the pinky finger up. And we place the right thumb onto the right nostril. And as we exhale out of the left nostril, just relax and release. And then inhale into the left nostril, valve the left, and exhale out the right. Inhale right, valve the right, and open the left as you exhale. Now, as we inhale into the left, we're stimulating right hemisphere of the brain. Exhaling out the right. And as we inhale right, we're stimulating left hemisphere of the brain. Now, in the ancient traditions of Ayurveda, as we breathe in into the left, that is considered the lunar channel or the cooling breath. So if we breathe in cool air as we open up the right nostril, we exhale out the warm air. And then breathing in the right nostrils, considered the solar channel, the heating air comes in. As we close the right, exhaling out the cooler temperature. So as you continue, see if you can notice and regulate the temperature of the air. Now, the body will do this automatically every 90 minutes through our autonomic nervous system, which is quite fascinating. It switches dominant nostrils or dominant nasal cavities so that naturally the brain can help balance not just the temperature, but the hormones that are released. And then we can layer onto that a little bit of releasing of the thoughts as we balance our thoughts. So let's do a few more like this without me talking. Just breathe in, stimulating opposite hemispheres of the brain, balancing. Now you might notice one side is easier than the other. Just observe that. Notice that one side is not perhaps 100% participating. And then once you've finished a cycle, release the hand technique and see if you can just use the mind and alternate that inhale and exhale without using the thumbs to valve. And take a few breaths this way. And then releasing the technique once you're done with your full round. And just feel for a moment, feel that equanimity. Notice the focus, the attention. It's a good chance more of you is present at this party than 5 minutes ago. I know I am. So we can bring more focus as we direct our attention to the breath. And we can also bring more focus when we direct our attention to those thoughts, visions, ideas that distract us from being in the moment. We'll practice that in a similar fashion at the end of class. But for now, I just want you to be aware of working with both sides of the brain today in practice and recognizing that we can affect both sides of the body as we affect both sides of the brain. The left side of the brain controls mostly the right side of the body. Right side of the brain controls mostly the left side of the body. So if there is one side more dominant than the other, there will naturally be an imbalance, like, a dominant right-handed person. There's more dominance on the right side than the left side, more activation in the left side of the brain than the right side of the brain. So our yoga practice wants to recognize that imbalance and bring it back into balance. So that's what we'll be doing today in our practice. Let's come forward onto our hands and knees. Put our blocks at the front of the mat and shift back into child's pose. So I just want you to be aware of how we move from left side, or right side, left side, and then we come back to a symmetrical pose. Take a breath here in child's pose. And we'll start with threading the needle. So let's come up onto our hands and knees. Let the knees come a little wider than our hips and our hands come forward. So let's bring them onto the blocks. That's a little more forgiving for wrists. And you can also bring your elbow or forearm onto the block. Reach the right arm up towards the sky and just feel that open up into the right side of the body, and maybe a little, muscle tension into the upper right back side. And then as you exhale, sweep it underneath and feel that twist in that very side that you were feeling a contraction and a little tension. And inhale back up. And exhale, sweep through. And inhale up. And exhale, sweep through. And one more. Inhale up. And exhale, sweep through. Now we're going to continue on this side. So inhale, sweep the arm up. Bring the right hand to the floor. I'm actually using my forearms this morning just for Katie's benefit. And of course, Virginia, anyone who's having wrist issues, but you're welcome to bring your hands to the floor. Now, bringing weight into your right knee, extend your left leg straight back and reach your right arm forward. So again, now we're crossing here, right and left, but still using this right arm as we exhale, bring it towards our left knee. Inhale, extend. Bird dog, exhale. And one more. Oh, let's do a total of 6. Let's do a couple more, 2 more. And last one. And lower the right hand down, left knee down. Let's shift ourselves back into child's pose. This time a wide knee child's pose. Still focusing on that right side. And let's walk our hands over towards the left and breathe into the right side body. So even though we're focusing on the right side upper body, the left side lower body has to work a little harder to balance out. The body, the brain seeks balance. And then walk our hands back towards center, still focusing on this right side body. Let's come up onto our hands and knees. Bend the elbows, come all the way down onto the chest. Now reach your right arm out to the right side like a letter T, and then glide the right arm down about a 45-degree angle. We're going to roll onto this right shoulder with awareness. Bring your left palm to the floor. Right leg is nice and stable. Press that right leg into the floor and then bend your left knee. And as you exhale, press into your left hand. Begin to roll over towards your right shoulder, lifting your left hip. And maybe placing your left foot onto the floor for support and just feeling a deeper stretch into this upper right shoulder. Breathe here. You could reach around and place your head onto a block if you want a little more support. Just recognizing the circulation in the shoulders affects the circulation into the wrists. Couple more breaths here. You can always roll back down, readjust that right shoulder, roll back on top of it if you need a little deeper connection there. And then roll ourselves back down. Remove the block if it's underneath your ear. Shift back once again. And let's come into child's pose. Take a breath here. And then slide back and sit up into Vajrasana. Sweep the arms wide like a letter T, still focusing on this right arm. And sweep the right arm over towards the left. Bend the left elbow under, hook it just above the elbow. And now keeping the shoulders down, just extend the right arm towards the left as you rotate your head towards the right and breathe here. And then slowly release that. Bring the arms wide like a letter T. One more thing to do. Let's bend the left elbow, reach it over towards your right ear, spin the right palm towards the sky with a slight bend into the elbow, and let that left elbow drop down. Gravity, no yanking. And just feel the gentle stretch in your neck on the right side. You're welcome to lift and lower your chin as you work through any muscle tightness. And then lower your right arm down a little bit more. Clench into the fist on the right side and then release and spread your fingers wide. Clench into your fist. Release wide. Two more times. You're still letting gravity stretch into the right side of the neck with the left elbow drawing towards the floor. And then release your left hand gently. Keep your left ear towards the left shoulder. And then drop your chin gently down towards your chest. Roll that jaw back. Bring your hands up onto your thighs. Close your eyes and just feel. Just notice the difference between the right side and the left side. So without us being aware of it, sometimes if we're dominant on one side or there's a slight scoliosis, one side gets a little more workout than the other, and the other needs to compensate in some way. Often that compensates in a very healthy and balanced ways, but not always. And that's where the use of therapeutic yoga can help to identify the imbalance and then work with the body to create more balance. So isn't that interesting? Just feel the whole right side and how that's responding to the work that we just did. So make note of that and then make note of the left side. And sometimes the miraculous capacity of the two hemispheres of the brain overlap. So that even if we haven't accessed that left side directly, there are certain parts on the left side that are actually responding to the work that we did on the right side. And this is often helpful when we do injuries or like little injuries, like we tweak our lower left side of the back. So maybe we work a little bit more in the upper right body, things like that. So now let's explore the other side. Let's come up onto our hands and knees, find our blocks again, and start with thread the needle. Because the brain does work in that miraculous crossing over of hemispheres, there's already a little work that's been done, a little opening that's been done. Walk your knees a little wider. And let's extend your left arm out and up towards the sky. And then sweep it through underneath. And we'll do that two more times. I think we did a total of 3. No, we did a total of 4. And one more. Stay here, breath, just to feel, and then reach that left arm back up. Bring the left arm back down onto the blocks. Bring your knees back underneath your hips. Right hand onto the block or onto your forearm. And let's extend your left arm forward and right leg back as we do a couple bird dogs here. Exhale, left knee to right, or left elbow to right knee. And inhale. Now you may notice one side's a little stronger, more stable than the other. Breathe in stability. into that unstable side. Breathe out, instability. Let's do a last one here. Extend out. And then lower the left hand to the floor, right knee to the floor. Move the blocks out the side. Let the knees come a little wider. Shift back child's pose and walk our hands over towards the right now and breathe into the left side of the body about 4 breaths. Even though you're feeling the stretch in the left side of the body, the right side of the brain is working, accessing not only the left side ribs, but also into the hips. And then walk our hands back towards center. Coming back up onto our hands and knees come underneath our hips. And let's lower all the way down onto the mat. This is a little bit, I think this is actually called dead man's pose, but I'm not sure. So extend your left arm out like a letter T and then drop it somewhere in between towards your hips. Find a comfortable spot for your shoulders. Right hand palm is onto the floor. Left leg is nice and stable and active and pressing into the mat. Bending your right knee as you inhale. Engage your bellies as you press into that left strong leg. Begin to press into your right hand now and roll over onto that left shoulder. So we're stretching into the left shoulder. You can place the block underneath your left ear, which I think finds a little more comfort into the neck. Take several breaths here. Find that perfect right spot for you. You can always roll back down halfway and then either raise or lower that arm, depending on what feels right. One more breath here, and then let's roll down, lower down. Remove the block. Bring both hands underneath your shoulder now. Shift back into child's pose with your hips or your knees underneath your hips. Take a breath here. Stretch through that low back. Already feel the difference left side now. And then slide your hands back. Let's sit up in Vajrasana. Use a block or prop or your roller if you need to. And bring the arms out like a letter T. Just breathe here and feel. Just imagine the right left levers of the brain, are just figuring out, okay, this is what's going on now. I got the program. I can relax into this. Let's take our left arm over towards the right as we still work with this left side. Sweep the right arm under and hook above the elbow towards the shoulder if you can. Keep this left shoulder down and draw this left arm over towards the right as you rotate your head to the left. Breathe here. And then we'll do one more thing here as you release this left arm, right arm. Let the arms come out back like a letter T. And then bend your right elbow. Bring your right hand on top of your left ear. Spin your left palm towards the sky. And gently let that right elbow drop towards the earth. Let gravity just begin this gentle pull in the neck. And let the chin lift and lower. And then bend the elbow a little bit more. Stay here without moving the head and just take another breath or two. To come out of this safely now, keep the right ear towards your right shoulder. Release your right hand Let both arms just relax down and then slowly drop the chin towards your chest. And then glide the chin back and come back up into your seated postures with your palms onto your thighs. Feel. Now, not only feel the left and right side, we've activated the left a little bit more than the right, but coming a little bit more into balance, but also feel the calm. Now we're going to take this awareness now and bring in some more symmetrical practices as we bring a little bit more energy into our asana practice by working a little bit more into back bending, heart opening practices. Let's come up onto our knees and a little Vajrasana, releasing the wrists, releasing the arms, hands to the small of the back. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, press your knees towards the floor and feel the hips gently press forward. So you're really like opening up into these creases into your hips. Now, before we sweep the arms up towards the sky, immediately relax the creases of the hips and let your butt just softly drop down to your heels. Feel how that's quite relaxed here in the groin. You can stick your fingers into the groin and just make sure they're not tensing up. Keep your fingers there, and then the minute you decide to shift forward and come up, feel those muscles tense up, contract, and then press the thighs forward. So now we're opening and contracting those, releasing them. Bring the hands back to the lower back. And now sweeping the arms wide up towards the sky as you inhale. As you exhale, hands to the lower back. Let's relax the creases, forehead to the floor. Vajrasana. Inhale, lift. Circle the wrists if you'd like. And exhale. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Take an extra breath here. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Let's come forward and let's come down onto our bellies. Bringing our hands close to our shoulders here, walk our feet a little bit wider and just kind of shimmy the hips and pelvis towards the floor, toenails towards the floor. We'll do some progressive back bendings. This is symmetrical as well. Shrug the shoulders up, back, and down. Pull back equally onto the heels of the hands now as you pull the bellies up and in, and lift the chest forward and up. Inhale. As you exhale, lower down, rotate the head towards the right. And again, pull back on the heels of the hands. Only come up as high as you need to still keep the shoulder blades down. And exhale, lower down, head to the left. Now walk your palms away from one another, about a half of a palm length. And let's do that again. Inhale, just notice now with the shoulders in a different position. Exhale, lower down, head to the right. Inhale. Exhale, lower down, head to the left. So we're moving the palms away from each other equally. So it's still a symmetrical pose. Walk them a little wider. You'll be off the mat. And again, 2 more times. Inhale. Notice with the hands a little wider, you might get a little more range of motion. Exhale, lower down. This is good for shoulders, Virginia, after gardening. And then walk your hands all the way out. Have your arms straight like a letter T, and then a little lower down. Press the pubic bone into the floor. We're just going to lift the upper body, chest, and arms together. Inhale up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale, lower down, head to the right. Inhale, back up. Exhale, down, head to the left. And inhale all the way up. Now stay here. Find a comfortable place for your shoulders. And then, if appropriate or you like, lift the legs up as you exhale. Take 4 breaths here. You're flying. You're flying over Marin, seeing all the beautiful greenery, spring flowers, Virginia's garden, her bamboo. And lower down. Rotate the head to one side and just take a breath in and feel. Do you feel like you're participating 100%? Are both sides of the body actively participating in your practice right now? And then rotate your head in the opposite direction. The more you show up, the more you can be present, the more you recognize in other people when they're not showing up 100%. And then let the head come back to center. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Keep the knees where they are and shift back one more time, child's pose. So the knees are a little bit wider. And we'll do a little cat and cow here as we come up onto our hands and knees. Draw the chest forward and exhale, round the back. Nice and symmetrical here. Two more. And one more. Of course, your hands can be on a block or forearms onto the block. Now keep the shoulder blades broad. Draw the bellies up and in, and bring your attention right underneath your scapula, your wingtips in the back body. And notice if one shoulder blade is reaching higher towards the sky than the other, see if you can manually override that habitual asymmetry and make both of them equal. Take 4 breaths here. One more breath. And then relax all of that. Walk your knees back to center. Let's cross at the ankle or swing our legs around, and we're going to come down on our backs. Have your block handy. And let's just come all the way down onto our backs. Make sure you have plenty of room above and below your feet, above your head and below your feet. So you can reach your arms all the way up towards the top of the mat. Now, if your shoulders don't quite have that range of motion, you can certainly reach around and grab a blanket or a couple of blocks so that your arms are slightly elevated so there's less stress onto the shoulders. But I'd like you to get as long as possible here and extend both hands, fingers spread wide, and flex both feet. Flex the feet and the toes spread wide. And then as you exhale, bring your fists into your hands into a fist and point your toes. Inhale, flex, spread the fingers wide. Exhale, fist and point the toes. 2 more times. So the asymmetry shows up so much more dominantly with our hands and our arms because we do a lot of reaching, grabbing, holding throughout the day. That certainly affects the lower body as well. Do a couple more. And last one here. And then lower the arms down by your sides. Bend the right knee, bend the left knee, and bring both feet onto the floor and feel the full length of that lower back. Full length of the upper back. Drop those shoulder blades down. Tuck the shoulder blades under with your palms facing the sky. Pressing into the feet now without lifting the hips. Just feel the activation of the core muscles. Press your feet down, slightly pulling apart, and just feel that engagement of the pelvic floor and of the belly muscles, and then see if you can relax the ribs slightly. And then release that completely. And then look around, find your block, and let's slide it in between our thighs on the first height.
This time we're going to move up into a bridge pose or Dvipada Pitham in repetition. We're going to notice if we're moving equally. So squeeze into the block, press the feet into the floor, draw the bellies in, and let's lift the hips up as you inhale. Back of the neck is long, and exhale, lower down, vertebra by vertebra. Sometimes when we move so quickly through this pose, we don't quite notice the weebles and the wobbles. So take your time and just observe. Two more times. And one more time. Now, sometimes there's an asymmetry just because there's a little disconnect between the neurons of the brain and that particular side of the body. That can happen when there's a little pinching in the nerve endings due to tight muscles, and that can often happen in the hip area. So let's address some of that. Go ahead and remove the block. And let's bring our right knee towards the chest, extend the left leg forward. Grab behind the right thigh as you press the right thigh forward. Now hold on to that right thigh with your right hand, but with keeping the right shoulder blade down. And reach the left arm up by your left ear. So now you're nice and long on the left side. Draw the bellies in, squeeze up into the left thigh muscle, and either with a straight leg or a bent knee, exhale, pull the bellies in and lift the left leg up as the left arm comes down by your side. Inhale, lower down. Let's do a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, use your core, lift the left leg, left arm comes down, left leg towards your chest, and then lower down. 5, 6, 2 more, 6, 5, 4. Just feel the work. 2, 1, and lower down. And we're coordinating the top and the bottom. Exhale. And inhale. Stay here for a breath. Draw the right knee back towards your chest, using your right hand and your left hand to hug the shin in. And then cross the right foot on top of the left thigh and bring the left thigh towards your chest. Reach behind your left thigh, interlace your fingers. And now feel that tension into the right thigh. Without drawing the left knee towards your chest, I simply want you to press the right knee away and then release that. So we're just moving into this right knee. The left knee and thigh become the stabilizer. 2 more. If you can't quite reach the hands underneath your thigh, then you can use the strap or keep your left foot to the floor. And last one. And then uncross both legs, bring both knees towards your chest, bring your feet to the floor, and straighten both legs out. So just feel. Reach both arms overhead. And as you clench through both fists, point through both toes, and then inhale, release, flex both feet, all 10 fingers extend. And then squeeze as you exhale, inhale, expand, exhale, squeeze, inhale, expand. Exhale, let's bring this left knee towards the chest now. Feel the stretch through the right leg. And then interlace your hands underneath that left thigh, holding on with your left hand. Reach the right arm by your ear. Take a breath in. We're going to, again, do 6 counts. Either the right knee is bent towards your chest or keep it straight. Draw the bellies in as you exhale and begin to lift the right leg. 6, 5, right arm comes up. 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down the same amount. So we want to keep it even and steady. Sthira Sukhamasanam. Strengthening both the inner and outer thigh muscles, as well as kicking in the connection to the brain. Steady as she goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhale here. So in my own body, I'm going to share, I just discovered that my psoas on this side is a little wonky. It's feeling a little painful, but I can stabilize it more by squeezing up into my thigh muscles so my psoas doesn't have to work so hard, and thereby creating a little more balance into the imbalance that I was alerted to by the pain or the discomfort. So I share that just so you can become aware of where you feel the pain, discomfort, misalignment, and see if all muscles are firing, if everyone's in the party together. And we'll do one more here. And what has happened since I have balanced that out now, there's less pain. The psoas doesn't have to work as hard. But unlikely I would have noticed that if I had been moving more quickly or not isolating one side and the other side. Good. Let's bend that right knee now towards the chest, left knee towards the chest, and then bring the right foot to the floor and bring the left foot on top of the right thigh, pressing the left knee away. As you exhale, draw the right thigh towards your chest, interlace your fingers, and press that left knee away. So instead of bending the elbows, bringing the right thigh towards your chest to create the stretch. A little more balance by pressing the left knee away as you inhale. Exhale, let's release that. Let's do the breath the other way. Exhale, press the knee away. Inhale, release. And let's do 2 more. And 1 more. And then uncross your legs, hug both knees back towards your chest. Bring your feet to the floor and then straighten both legs out. Reach both arms up towards the top of the mat. Now, just relax the hands, relax the feet, and feel the extension happen from the middle core. Draw the bellies in. Take a breath here. Relax the jaw as you drop the shoulders down and lower the arms down by your side. Relax the feet. Take a breath in and just feel. Notice the symmetry. Does one hip feel higher than the other using the feedback of the floor as a sensory input? Or not? Are they equal? Take one more breath here. And then let's bend both knees, the right and the left knee. And let's roll on over to our side. Let's come back up into a seated pose. Roll onto our hands and knees. And either through a downward facing dog or not, take your time to come to standing. If you go through your down dog or your forearm dog, take a few breaths here just to really feel the stretch. And then make your way to the front of the mat. Let's bend the knees, arms wide, come all the way up. Then palms to the heart, or palms together, thumbs to the heart. Just feel. Now just notice not just the balance right, left side, but also the balance of the brain. I'm going to do one last thing standing here. We've done this before. It's a wonderful balancing practice, not only for the physical body, but for the brain. We'll bring the arms up halfway and then one arm all the way up. Now, instead of bringing them out to the side, today we're going to bring them forward. Okay. And we'll be coming up onto our toes. So if you feel like you might want to have a block in between your thighs, you're welcome to do that or not. Feeling that stability. What the block allows you is that feedback, once again, of noticing, is one side stronger than the other? Just feel that if you're using a block. And then with arms by your side, let's come into Tadasana for 2 breaths and just start from the base of the feet to the crown of the head. As you exhale, feel equal pressure on both the ball mound and pinky mound of your toes and equal weight between the front of your toes and the back of the heel. And then squeeze up into your knees, your thighs, lift the belly, lengthen through the back body, begin to feel the shoulders align over the hips as they relax, the crown of the head towards the sky as the chin finds its perfect spot so that the ears are aligned with the shoulders. Let's exhale here, drawing the bellies in. And now inhale, let the arms come forward, both arms up halfway. Right arm comes all the way up. Exhale, lower the right arm halfway. Both arms down as the heels come down. Inhale, both arms up. Now the left arm continues up. Exhale, lower the left arm down. And both arms down. Again, we'll do the right arm halfway up, all the way up. Now keep the right arm up, lower the left hand down. And now dip the right arm over towards the left for 4 breaths. You're still onto your toes. Brain had to work a little bit there. And then inhale the right arm back up. Exhale the left arm halfway up. Inhale the right arm down to meet the left arm. It's like cheerleading. And then lower both arms down and both heels down. Take a breath here and feel. So I don't know, is it possible not to be 100% present in that? If you got all your arms and legs correct, let's try the other side. Let's exhale here to prepare. Find your Tadasana, pull the bellies up and in, find the alignment, and then inhale up on your toes, both arms up. Left arm continues to rise up. Lower the right arm down by your side, left arm stays up. And then dip over towards your right with your left arm over by your left ear for 4 breaths. Stay up onto your toes. That's right, Maria. One more breath here, and then inhale the left arm up. Exhale, bring the right arm halfway up. Yeah, lower the left arm down halfway and lower both arms down. Good. Take a breath here. How was that, Maria? Were you able to do that? I saw a little bit of this. All right, let's do one more out to the side. Let's come out, both arms wide. So one thing that's fun about this is just to be able to laugh at yourself. Reach the right arm up towards the sky. Reach the left arm up towards the sky. Interlace the fingers, both palms, press up, get nice and long as you pull your bellies in. Bend your elbows, lower the heels, release the hands and lower both arms down. The other thing is just to be aware of, oh, that's interesting. I said right, but I meant left, and I moved left, but I looked right. You just have to laugh at it until you can get it. Let's exhale here. We'll do that once again. Breathe in, both arms out to the side, come up onto your toes. Left arm up towards the sky. Right arm up towards the sky. Interlace fingers and press the palms away. Lift into those heels. Take a breath in, nice and long. And then bend the elbows, lower the heels, and reach both arms down by the side. Bring both arms out like a letter T. Let's bend our knees and let's come forward into a forward fold. Hands to the floor, onto your shins. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Keeping your left hand onto the floor, onto your shin or onto a block. Reach the right arm up towards the sky. You still have the block perhaps between your knees. You can bend your left knee a little bit more. Breathe here and now feel how that upper right back shoulder feels. And lower the right hand down, straighten both legs. And inhale the left arm up, the right knee bends. Lower the left arm down. Now we come back into symmetry. Bend the knees. Let's hug a tree, Utkatasana. Let's take 4 breaths here. And then release that. Bring your hands to the floor. Remove the block. Let's come back down onto our hands and knees. And shift back, child's pose. Glide the hands back. Let's stand on our knees. Vajrasana now. An asymmetrical variation. Arms widen up. Stretch through those thighs. Left arm forward. Right hand to the small of the back. Rotate the head to the right. You know this one. Inhale, back up. Now maybe you can feel all the back muscles recruiting here. Exhale, right arm forward, left hand to the small of the back. Rotate the head to the left to create a little more ease in the body as everybody joins the party. Once again to the right. Inhale up. Exhale to the left. Inhale up. And exhale, both arms forward, both hips back. Reach for your block or double fist underneath your forehead and take a few breaths here. Position your knees so you make sure that they're comfortable. And come back up into a seated pose. Let's swing our legs around, either using the blocks underneath your knees or use the blankets underneath your knees. Let's get that positioned before we come down onto our backs. And bring the right knee to the chest and the left knee to the chest. Keeping your knees to your chest, arms out like a letter T now, or you can bring your feet to the floor for lower back issues. Let's exhale the knees all the way to the left as we look to the right. Take a few breaths here. So a deep asymmetrical twist. It's basically one part of the body is going forward, one part of the body is going backwards. Or they're twisting in opposite directions. Breathe here. Let the brain adjust to that. Now, as you are twisting to the right with your knees to the left, can you direct your attention to breathe just into your right lung? Aside from a great focusing tool, this also works with some deep emotional issues. You know, when our heart is broken or we're grieving. Or we're feeling kind of down, just breathing into one side of the lungs. See if we can find that exact spot where we're feeling that sensation. And then release that breath as you exhale. Feel the stability as you draw the knees back up to your chest. Inhale back to center and drop your knees in the other direction. So now the knees are to the right, like we split our body in half, and the upper body is towards the left. So breathe here. Gentle few breaths as the brain adjusts to the different directions in which it's going. And then simply breathe into your left lung. See if you can do that. And then squeeze the knees back together. Bring the knees back up to center for strength. And then draw the knees towards your chest. Let's do 4 Apanasana. To balance the brain, inhaling through both nostrils, both lungs, both knees, press away, exhale, both elbows bend, knees towards your chest, and 2 more. Stay here for a breath. And then when you're ready, extending the right and left leg, let them place over the blocks or the blanket. And let's just come into Shavasana and feel. Recognize the stillness. Recognize and pay attention to the vitality underneath the stillness, the life force. Now, in this position, we're going to practice our alternate nostril breathing just through verbal instruction. Imagine that you are valving the nostrils. So let's exhale together. Imagine you're valving the right nostril and breathe into the left nostril. Switch nostrils, exhale out now the right nostril. Inhale right nostril. Switch, exhale left. Breathe in, left nostril, lunar, cooling. Switch, exhale right. Inhale right, solar, heating. Switch nostrils, exhale left. Continue on your own for another 30 seconds or so, seeing if you can actually access the opposite sides of the brain of the nostril that you're using. Notice if there's some smooth and even messaging, or is it a little jaggedy, a little interrupted? Is your brain getting the message? And then once you've finished your last round, just relax the technique and take a few more breaths here effortlessly. feeling the equanimity of a balanced physical body, a balanced emotional, mental body, energetic body. And then as you deepen your inhalation equally, pay attention if you can breathe in equally through both nostrils, wiggle fingers and toes. And then as you exhale, bend your non dominant leg. So notice the leg that you always bend first, bend the other one first. And then bring the other leg towards your chest. Either rock and roll or roll to your side, and we'll finish up in a seated posture. We have about 1 more minute here with our eyes still closed in an upright seated position now. When we begin to understand and get more accustomed to this alternate nostril breathing and alternate work with the sides of the body as we balance out the brain, we can also retrain our brain with different messaging so that we move those thoughts out that are distracting, that no longer serve us, and begin to call in the thoughts that actually create more balance and connection. And those thoughts can be anything. So as you're sitting here, just become aware of some of the thoughts that are passing by that projector screen. And perhaps breathe in one of the positive good ones. And then recognize one that no longer serves you and breathe that thought out. So perhaps it's I breathe in calm. I breathe out distraction. I breathe in light. I breathe out dark. And just find a word or several words, and to yourself, just speak that to yourself as you breathe in and you breathe out. And over time, with practice, you can retrain the brain so that your focus is more intent upon the positive and that which serves you, and you can more easily let go of perhaps the negative and that which no longer serves you. So relax the technique now. Know that you can use that technique at any point in time, standing in the grocery line, filling your gas tank, even in perhaps an uncomfortable silence with a relationship you're struggling with. Let's close for today by bringing our palms together. And as we open our eyes gently, let's sweep the arms wide and up. Spin the palms away as we open the mouth. Exhale fully and completely. Last one, bring the arms wide and up. And bring the palms together and down to the heart. Let's close here sweetly with a namaste, a mahalo, aloha, bye-bye. Thank you.